Hello, creative, and welcome back to the Empowered Creatives podcast, finding confidence between hustle and burnout. I'm your host, Victoria Hines, creative career coach, helping creatives just like you level up or find their next path in your career. I love being a creative. I've been one for many, many years, and it's been an adventure to be an actor, to be a podcaster, to be an entrepreneur, to be building a business. And I am so excited about this week's episode because I want to talk to you about these two special words that I bet you've heard before. I'm in this until I've made it. Everything will be smooth sailing once I've made it. If I just keep going for another 5 years, I know I'll make it. I have to make it. Otherwise, it will have all been a waste. I have what it takes to make it. How many of you have heard another creative say something along these lines? I'm raising my hand. I know you can't see my hand, but seriously, raise your hand. How many of you have said these words yourself? Whether out loud or maybe just in your head. I love this beautiful land called Making It. I imagine it's this place filled with golden light and warmth and ease and money and fans and acclaim. It feels sweet and delicious, and when I close my eyes and picture it, I'm like, wow, this place makes me feel powerful. I really cannot tell you when the words making it seeped into my vocabulary, but it was there for me as an actor as far back as I can remember. Making it. That was the dream. That's the goal. That is sort of like the golden level that everybody felt like we were compared to. It was like, if you don't make it, then you've failed. Except I kind of clued into this, honestly, only a few years ago. What exactly is making it when you put it into the real world? That, my friends, was a wake-up call. So this episode is going to be all about what is making it, why it's a myth, and 5 reasons it's leading you astray, and how you can get just a little bit more intentional in your dream setting than just saying, oh wow, I hope I make it. Before I dive in, I want to do a real quick little shout out. So at the end of each of these podcasts, I give you one thing to try. I know you've been listening, so I know you've been trying those one things, one experiment, one challenge, one homework assignment, so to speak, to try that might just bring a little bit of confidence back to your creative career. If you'd like to have another one thing delivered straight to your email inbox every other week, I would love for you to hop into the show notes below to join my email list. I actually love writing to you as much as I love creating these podcast episodes. So I promise it'll be a fun place to be. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you like to read as well as listen, definitely hop onto that link. All right, and now let's dive into the myth of making it. So as I talked about before, I feel like I had been chasing this feeling of making it. I knew those words at some point in my childhood. I don't know if it was high school. I don't know if it was college. At some point that bar, that metric was set for me. And as a perfectionist, I went for it because I knew that if I didn't quote unquote make it, I will have failed. And failure as a perfectionist, as many of you might know, is not an option. Except I think right around I think it might have been my mid-20s, I kind of was going through a big transformational phase and starting to kind of open myself to making some more concrete goals about my life and really trying to imagine where I wanted to be. I had popped from college. I knew I could somewhat make it on my own. I was getting the hang of adulting, and I I wanted to set this vision for the future of my life. And I quickly realized that I had just been chasing a feeling, a metric of quote unquote making it that I really didn't know where it started or where it ended. It was not this dream of making it was not based in any sort of tangible or realistic reality. And to be perfectly frank, I don't even know if I would have noticed if I had made it. To be honest, I am somebody who is terrible at celebrating my successes. It's something I am working on. So the fact that I was chasing this quote unquote idea of making it and thought at some point it would just bring me magical happiness is kind of quite crazy. I'm a person who's always focused on the next thing. So if I made it, would I have even known? The reality is there's not one definition of making it. All of us, if you probably were to ask a creative or ask them to start making it a little bit more tangible, all of us would have different answers. Maybe for me as an actor, I think it was being able to pay the bills with acting, making $60,000 a year, booking a solid gig on an ongoing TV show, or winning an Academy Award. I've talked to artists who say getting my paintings in a gallery, selling $40,000 worth of work a year, selling six figures worth of work a year, or being commissioned for that project that I've always dreamed about. Maybe it's being a New York Times best-selling author as a writer. Whatever your creative medium or path or career, we all have maybe these metrics underneath them that would checkmark this idea of making it. But why do our brains default to this legendary, mythical land of making it instead of the more tangible, the concrete, the solid goals that we can actually break down and try to attain as a creative? I think we start chasing these myths because it sounds good. It sounds like perfection. If we've made it, we will, one, be well respected. We will gain the respect from our peers for every person who told us that we didn't have what it takes, for every teacher who didn't believe in us or put us down, for our parents who didn't support us. They will finally respect us because we will have made it. Number two, we'll have power. We'll be able to have a platform. People will listen to us. We'll be able to sway opinions. Number three, we'll have ample amounts of money. We'll be rolling in it. We'll be making six figures, seven figures. We'll be a millionaire. If we've made it, we will have more money and be so financially comfortable. Number four is have influence. If we've made it, we will have influence. It's very similar to power, but influence is more so how we can sway public opinion, have fans, have tons and tons of people following us on Instagram or TikTok or our podcast. And number five is we'll be admired. If we've made it, we will be the person that everybody else looks up to. Respect, power, money, influence, and admiration. These are all really, honestly, wonderful things. And as an ambitious and Frankly, as an actor, like wanting to chase the spotlight, of course I wanted all of these things because they sounded good. They felt good. I knew that they were good. I've been told since I was young that all of these things are good. But making it is a goal that is vague and unachievable. You end up admiring a status, not a concrete goal. So if you think back to those 5 words that I just said, respect, power, money, influence, admiration, those are all places of status. Maybe money. Maybe money can be a concrete goal. I'll give that to you. But most of those they're a state of being. They're not something that you have much control over as a human. Therefore, you end up chasing after something that will never come to pass. So, here's my one thing for you this week. What I want you to do instead of chasing the myth of making it, I want you to do this instead. When you spot someone else and think, wow, they've made it, I want you to stop yourself and identify what exactly about their achievements you admire. Write it down. Make sure it is insanely specific. And now that you know what it is specifically about somebody's career that you admire, how can you implement this goal into your own career? Thank you for tuning in to the Empowered Creatives podcast this week. As always, if you enjoyed the show, be sure to tell a friend this week. Also, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review if you haven't already. I'll see you again next week, creative. Bye for now.